Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Generic Capper YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing well and staying safe, and I hope you all enjoyed the Nintendo Direct yesterday. This is something that I am doing. It's a little different than I usually do when I'm covering Nintendo Directs, but I figured, it would be kind of cool to do a discussion-based summary, I guess. It's more of a discussion for like after the video, 'cause if you guys like want to come and comment down any thoughts you guys have about the directs, I would feel, and then maybe in the next week I'll do like a part two to like do some discussion points, anything like that. But it's basically like a summary discussion, my thoughts, really just like a little after the direct. It's been about close to a day since the direct aired, and since it aired and me recording this, so you know, it was a very good direct. Um, I think personally it was one of the best, if not the best, directs that we've had, at least since I think it was the best presentation we've had since the January presentation for Nintendo Switch, and it could be the best direct we've ever had. I'm not ready to make that to actually like say that outright, but it was definitely a very good Nintendo Direct, and I am very excited for the stuff that they showed off. Um, but yeah, the reason why I'm also doing this video is because Nintendo throughout the day yesterday and a little bit into today have been posting some other things about these games, mainly the first party games, I think, or only the first party games. But it's some extra information that I don't know if everybody knows about, but I think it would still be kind of cool. I think it's pretty important, not really important, but just really interesting for people to know, for especially people interested in like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Splatoon 3. As well as I think they released something for Fire Emblem um, Warriors 3 Hopes. But yeah. So first we're just gonna look at the direct in itself. Just go back and do the same thing I did at the end of the video yesterday. Just put a little bit more depth into it. Just where we went over the announcements. So obviously it was Nintendo Direct for February 9th of 2022, and then it went black. And then obviously they showed off the Fire Emblem game. I know this isn't the Fire Emblem game that everybody thought we would get. I know a lot of people were thinking we were going to get a sequel, like a direct sequel in the Fire Emblem formula or like the tactical strategy RPG formula that we've had, for most mainline Fire Emblem games, and not like a sequel to or like a pseudo sequel, I guess, to Warriors, because this isn't. While does have the Warriors name, I'm assuming it's probably closer to what Age of Calamity was when it came to the first Hyrule Warriors. Where the first Hyrule Warriors had just a bunch of characters from throughout the whole series, and I think Fire Emblem Warriors did the same thing, where it just had a bunch of characters from throughout the series, and then it had like a protagonist that's like, or like like some characters that are specific to that game. And Hyrule Warriors did the same thing, and but I think this is like the Age of Calamity for Fire Emblem, where they went off a storyline and they're giving a you're giving. I mean, Age of Calamity had. I mean, Breath of the Wild had a ending. This Fire Emblem Three Houses did not have like an ending that everybody obviously had to go to, because there's three different paths, and then if you got the DLC, there was a fourth path. But yeah, so this gives like a definitive or like a golden route. I guess that's what people are calling it, golden route. That like everybody, but who knows? There's three hopes. Maybe it still goes in three different ways. But I think they mentioned that this is like an alternative story to what Three Houses was in the direct. But the game looks very good, and I'm very excited for it. It's coming out in June, so it's not that far away. For the most part, most of the first party stuff that we saw in this direct, it's pretty close, especially the new, like even the new stuff is really close. Like this is in June. Obviously, we know that Wii Sport or Nintendo Switch Sports is in April. Advance Wars is in April. Kirby's in March. Um, Mario Strikers Battle League is in June. So a lot of the first party games that we saw here are obviously in that first half of the year point that they put out, and even technically in their physical year, technically Xenoblade does also fall into that because it's in their physical year technically starts in March, and so technically September is the first half of that year, but that's totally That's not important. That's they didn't really show. Well, we'll get to Xenoblade. So then they went on to, and then they showed off. They showed off Advance Wars. I know I didn't really talk about this much in my reaction, but I am very excited for Advance Wars as well. It'll be my first time ever playing Advance Wars, so um, being a Fire Emblem fan, I'm very excited to finally just try some other tactical RPGs. I know there's a bunch out there. Obviously, um, Triangle Strategy is another one that's gonna be coming out real soon. So we're getting a lot of these kind of games, and I'm very excited for it. And you know what? I like the art style of Advance Wars. I like the animations that the game has. I like the I think like the character emblems in the corner. Obviously, they move around. There's not interactive, but the text box are really cool. There's voice acting to a certain extent, obviously. Um, and then like these kind of animations, they're very cool. So I'm very excited for it. The April date, the April date was confirmed, so that's also very cool. Um, I know that was like technically leaked by Nintendo a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. I think right actually around the time the game was delayed, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, this is what interested me a little bit. Well, no, not actually, because I know this game being made by WayForward, but I do wonder if Intelligent Systems did have some like say in how the game was, and maybe that's why we aren't seeing like a mainline, quote unquote mainline, because I think Warriors technically is like a mainline story, but we're not seeing like a mainline Fire Emblem game probably this year, because usually that spring summertime is the time you would see a Fire Emblem game. I don't think they want these two competing, but it is really interesting. I wonder if they're also like helping WayForward with this game, and that's why obviously we're not seeing that Fire Emblem game until maybe next year. If that's the remake or that's like a actual, like Fire Emblem game that's based in the Three Houses world. Um, yeah, it's very cool. And obviously, if you guys don't know, most of the games that you guys will see in this direct, especially first party ones, you can pre-order now on the Nintendo eShop, which is a very cool thing. And then we went into No Man's Hero, No Man's Sky, No Man's Heroes, No Man's Sky, and again, No Man's Sky speaks for itself. I know a lot of people have played No Man's Sky before, so there's not really much I can say about it. They expanded on Twitter that actually I can probably go to the tweet right now. They expanded on Twitter that if I can find it, it's one of the early announcements. It's gonna be a little further down, but they expanded on the fact, or I think maybe Hello Games expanded on the fact that it is all 5 years of content. This is where the game is on other consoles. And there's a whole different trailer. Like it's a little shorter, or it's a little longer of a trailer on the website or on Twitter, and sorry, that they've released, and it basically shows off a lot more of the game on Nintendo Switch. Yeah, obviously it's not a cloud version. Like I know a lot of people were saying. I even said that during my direct reaction that I wonder if it's gonna be cloud. It's not a cloud version, which is also very cool. Though I I mean this is one of the games I guess that could work as a cloud version because technically you do probably want to be online for some of it. Um, Kingdom Hearts does not make sense to be on the cloud, but that's neither here or there. But yeah, obviously you have to be online for some parts of this game, so maybe it'd make a little more sense for this to be the cloud game. But anyways, it does look really good though on Switch. So it looks as good as it can be on Switch. Um, you know, obviously it's probably going to be some. You can already see that in the trailers, some graphical downgrades, but that's still fine. And then we went into the second big announcement for this, or anything could be a big announcement, but we went to the second big first party announcement during this direct, which was Mario Strikers Battle League. Um, Obviously we've seen the trailer. Something I did not expand on as much as I probably should have in my reaction, because I know I pointed out for no reason at all that when they were talking about the gear system, and obviously like here you can see like this is probably like right at the beginning, um, whether this is a story mode, like if this is part of the story, if there is a story mode. We got the Donkey Kong Country huts and Donkey Kong General huts in the background. This is probably like just one of the newer, or one of like the different changing stadiums we can play in. But yeah, and I pointed out it made no sense, but here you guys can see they have no gear on, and then they showed off a portion about how to get the gear. I made no sense when I said this, but I said like, what if there's microtransactions? There is no going to be obviously no microtransactions because this is something that's part of like the main game. You can go and buy gear for your Mario characters, and obviously they affect their stats. So you can see here, um, with these boots and these gloves and this different helmet, Mario's shooting went up by 10 points compared to this one, but his passing went down. Um, that's about it. So this one right here, if you do this layout, you have better passing. If you do this layout, you have better shooting. Here you have better strength. In comparison to this one, you have better technique. You have better passing. You have better shooting. You have better speed. So this one is like more of a like your traditional soccer player, kind of. Like we can see like the you see the jersey already. You see like, these are kind of traditional boots or traditional shoes, and this is stats. This one has more strength, but you obviously lose speed and you lose the ability, a little bit of the ability to shoot and pass. You have a little less technique. So I found that kind of interesting. These are like the hyper strikes. So I think these are like the character specific moves. So we have, well, no, my bad. Well, so a hyper strike is like so it's like a animation. So it's like the animated moves. I think this is the character specific moves. Like this is that looks like a Luigi's Mansion type of move. I think they showed off a Yoshi's one either earlier or later in the direct. And obviously with these kind of shots, you get 2 points instead of one. So they're keeping the mechanic where you can get multiple points for a special shot, which is also very cool. I know that was in the first games. I haven't played much of the first two strikers, so yeah. But they showed off you can play multiplayer. There is 10 characters up here, so maybe there's unlockable characters too. Maybe this could be one of those other games, like the past two sports games where they continuously start adding different characters over time, so you can play with different characters. Maybe they update the story a little bit at points, but we shall see on that. They did not mention any DLC or anything in this direct. Um, so yeah, and then obviously then we went on to just another thing. We went on to another. We went to Splatoon 3, which they showed off Salmon Run. Very cool. I'm very excited for Splatoon 3. I'm very excited for everything they showed off in this direct. But show off Salmon Run. They show off some new bosses in Salmon Run. So they show off a new mechanic for Salmon Run, being the egg throw. So if you guys did not know, in the Splatoon 2 Salmon Run, you had to run the egg all the way as yourself. And I think if you died, someone else could have picked up the egg, but you could not like pass the egg to anyone. So now you can throw the egg to people, and then so like that's like adds a little more strategy, because if you're about to die, you can like do an egg throw and throw it to somebody that's maybe a little farther away, but still obviously in range to catch it. So that's very cool. But it does look like it looks like the familiar Salmon Run that we um, have all known and gotten to know since Splatoon 2 came out. However, I do wonder if this will be a mode that we can always play. I know in Splatoon 2, it's like a couple days every week, or maybe just every once in a while, the Salmon Run area on the left side of the main like where you go to choose like if you want to play the story, if you want to play multiplayer. I know that side sometimes it would say like Salmon Run's open, Salmon Run's closed. So I wonder if this will be like a 24/7 thing. You can just play Salmon Run whenever you feel like it. Which I mean, I think that is another progression that Salmon Run should make. We can play it whenever. And this was also another big point. They did not show off a date. So my theory on the fact that they didn't show off a date is that we will be getting a Splatoon 3 Direct probably in May, dating the game for probably early to mid July. I would have said before this Direct that they would have dated it for May, but I do not think they want to compete. I don't think they want this or Switch Sports to compete with each other. So giving, maybe we don't even have a game in May. Maybe the Switch Sports is like the big thing that we see for carries us through May, and then obviously, though, I mean maybe not because maybe we have a smaller game that comes out in May because we also probably don't want two sports games back to back first party from Nintendo. But obviously that's Nintendo's choice. We obviously don't really have much input on that. But and we might have a bunch of headlines. They shut off Front Mission, the first Front Mission remake, which is very cool. I'm not sure if I will get this because I don't know if it's for me. Um, I mean, it's another like tactical, I think, like tactical-ish game. That's very cool, but um, I mean, it's a lot of tactical games, but it does look like very cool. I've never really played Front Mission before. Like, this is the first time I've actually heard about Front Mission. But I might buy it. I might play it. It just depends on what's coming out around it. I don't know if they gave this a date. Yeah, so they said this summer, so maybe that's like an August game. If it's in August, I'll probably get it and try it out. Because at that point, we would be about 2 months away from Fire Emblem and Mario Strikers, and obviously Sports Switch Sports, and then obviously Advance Wars and Kirby. So this will probably be like but I don't know if this is also coming on other consoles. It might just be a Switch game. I don't know if that's something we can look into after this. But and then they should have Front Mission 2. They should have Disney racing game. It's free to play. Um, it looks cool, but I don't think this is for me. Which obviously that's fine. I know there's an audience for these type of games. Obviously, this is more of it has a lot of characters that, um, you know, not just Disney fans, but like people that played these games or watched these movies when they were younger. Obviously, it's like children. Obviously, children and any age can play these games. But you know, I I might try it out. It depends on obviously what's happening. They didn't give a date to this either. I think they did. Oh, they did not. So they didn't give a date to this. If this comes out around like the second or third time, the second or third pack for Mario Kart, I don't know if I would choose this over Mario Kart. Which we'll get into the Mario Kart packs in a little while. But it is made by the people that made Asphalt, so I liked Asphalt 3D for Switch. I mean, for 3DS. So maybe this is a game for me. I'll try it out probably, but and then we went on to a little bit of a section on classic games. So I'm assuming there's not really much changes with these. We got Force Unleashed and we got the Ezio collection. I think the Ezio collection was leaked. If it wasn't announced before, it was leaked. I think I've heard about this before. I'm not sure if Force Unleashed leaked. And then we got Gundam. I think this is probably also an older game, just based on this headline. But I have never played a Gundam game before, so maybe this is the time I get into Gundam. But yeah, it was it's a small segment. It was like a minute or two, but this is like for you people that have never played these games before. I've played Force Unleashed before. I've watched people play the Assassin's Creed Ezio collection. So maybe Gundam is the one I go for if I were to get a game in this section. But it's still a very cool section. Still, it's still third-party presence on Nintendo Switch. And then we went into one of the bigger announcements for the Direct being through the being through the Chrono Cross collection. I always get a little confused between some of the games names, but Chrono Cross, very big. I know a lot of people have been asking, and I know the remasters were leaked or technically leaked. I think through the Nvidia leak, which I don't know if this adds any more truthness or truth to that leak, because maybe this would just always happen. But Chrono Cross. This will be my first time playing Chrono Cross, so I'm very excited for that. And I it looks really unique and it looks very interesting, in my opinion. So yeah, Chrono Cross. And it does look visually cool. And I know this is a big deal for people. The fact that it was getting Radical Dreamers, that came out on the television, I think. Oh my, that is loud. Um, yeah, it's a Teleview. So that's very cool. I got Intellivision and it's a Teleview mixed up, but it is cool that this is also coming out on, and it's very close. It's roughly 2 months away. Very cool. Um, I think it's also, and this is one of the games that's coming out on every single console. Nintendo announced it in their direct, but it is coming out on Xbox and PlayStation and Steam as well as on Switch. So very cool. And you can pre-order it right now. I saw on through Wario64 that Switch obviously has it for pre-order, the Xbox has it for pre-order, and Steam has it for pre-order. I'm not sure if this moment PlayStation has it for pre-order, but if it does, you can go check. All you can follow Wario64 for announcements on stuff like this. Like he announces, he like does tweets for like announcements happening in directs. But this, and then obviously if you guys like need like a next gen console, he tweets out about that. You guys need like any special edition. So it's always cool if you guys just want to like pre-order some stuff. He puts out links. So then we went on to the roughly in my predictions. I had said that I think that they would do a middle section. They wouldn't have a middle game. They didn't have a middle game. They had Kirby up here in the middle. And that's also very cool. The fact that the big mechanic for that they showed off in this Kirby game was the fact that um, like you don't need to just you can't you don't just eat or swallow or become Kirby doesn't just become enemies now, or like he can become like a car. He can not transform into a car, but like he becomes the car um, by like engulfing the car. But yeah, the Mercedes of the Kirby Mercedes. um, but yeah, that's very cool. It's Kirby, very new Kirby, new mechanics in Kirby. This Kirby game looks beautiful and looks very good. I'm very excited for it. It's probably before this direct happened, it was probably my most anticipated Switch game, at least for the first half of the year. Well, it was only the only games we knew for the first half of the year. But I was more excited for this than I was for Splatoon or Advance Wars, and that excitement is still there. Maybe it's a little more dashed by the fact that we have Mario Strikers coming out in June, but I think this is my biggest, most anticipated game for the first half of this year on any console, anything, because I do like the way it looks. I'm very excited to see Kirby again. Star Allies. I've personally found Star Allies very fun to play. I know that wasn't like the popular opinion, or like it wasn't popular in gen. Like it was a popular game, but it wasn't as liked as probably I like it because I like the game a lot. But I'm very excited to see this. The game does look very good, and we got the water balloon mouth Kirby. And they went into a little more story stuff about it, how you're saving the Waddle Dees, and progressively as you save more Waddle Dees, the town starts to progress more. So maybe by the end of the game, we have a full civilization again. It isn't as run down as it showed off in the first trailer, The Last of Us Kirby. Um, but yeah, and obviously, so progressively probably be able to like mechanic. Like obviously here, we probably don't have a weapon shop at the beginning of the game, but as we probably get later into the game, probably able to buy more weapons, probably stuff that abilities. Obviously here you can upgrade your abilities to get better abilities based on those like mechanics. So here like you see the cutter, and then you have multiple different cutters, fire, volcano fire, and I think they showed off another fire mode, but then we have cutter needle. So yeah, that's very cool. I'm glad they Dragonfire. I'm glad that they this game does have a lot put into it. I'm very excited to dive into it and try out all the mechanics and just see how Laboratory has changed up the Kirby formula since Star Allies and Fighters and all the games that came out on the 3D or the Switch thus far. Really, mainly just Fighters, I guess. But we also maybe get some spin-offs the rest of the year. We'll get into that later. Maybe in like a Kirby predictions video for the 2022 predictions video. But gonna be getting other Kirby games this year. So we went some more headlines after MLB The Show. Personally, this segment was very good. It was very well done, but I'm not. It doesn't look the best on Switch. And obviously that's not the purpose of this. The purpose is probably to have it in portable mode. But for those that do play it on, on TV, you probably want to choose another version of the game. Um, so if you care about visuals that much, but for me, if I were to get MLB The Show, I'd probably, because I also probably wouldn't want to play it on portable. It is very cool that it's coming to Switch, but I'd probably get it on like another console or something to play MLB The Show. But it is also it's still very cool that they showed it off, and you know that the mechanic is or the game is generally coming to Switch. That's very cool. And they showed off the Muppet. Very cool. Um, then we got game collections. I know this game collection is very controversial, as I brought up earlier. Kingdom Hearts Cloud Edition. Obviously, if you never played Kingdom Hearts before, and this would be your only opportunity, I guess, if you don't have a strong enough PC or you don't have another console, it's still a good alternative. For me, have been able to play Kingdom Hearts on other consoles, so it isn't like this isn't for me necessarily. Obviously, because obviously it isn't really also a portable game because you have to be on the internet all the time to play it. So if you do have another console, I'd recommend you guys get it on another console. But if this is your only console, and this is the only way if you guys can play, like I know a lot of families and a lot of people, I mean, generally, I mean, most people do not have another console to be able to play that stuff on, or they have a PC. Um, I play this game on PS4, so you have to just look at like where you want to play Kingdom Hearts really. If the one recommendation I do after this game, because the games do look great, they do look good, very good. They look like they did on the PS4. Um, they have really cool cutscenes. Cutscenes look great, but I would wait for a price drop. I think they're on sale right now, so if you do plan to buy these, or it's out today, I think. But if you do plan to buy these games, I would buy them now or when they go on a sale, just because it is usually on sale on other consoles as well for like $20. I think you can buy like all the games together for $20 or $40, and I think right now it's 90 or 90 something on Switch. They get all this stuff, and they get like the all-in-one collection. So yeah, you know that's my recommendation. It's still a good alternative to play it if you guys do not, have never played Kingdom Hearts before. But then we went on to Klonoa. Klonoa is very cool. For a lot of these things in the directs that like were third party, like this would be my first time ever playing them, like Klonoa. I'm very excited to finally be able to play Klonoa. It comes out in July. The game does look very good. It looks at least updated based on what I've heard about the game previously. It was obviously a PS2 game, um, so or a PlayStation game really. So it does look very cool. Very excited for it in July. And then they went on straight from Klonoa to Portal. And again, if you guys never play Portal, this will be a good way to play Portal. I'm not sure how much it will cost. It's usually pretty cheap also on Steam. So, and you can also get it like through many different collections on Steam that you also get other games with. But if you do want to play on Switch and you have like friends that you can play with it on Switch, this is a very cool very cool way to play Portal. You can also play it portably. So it's really cool. The companion collection, and Portal's cool. Portal's really cool. And then we went on to Alive, which, from what I've seen, a lot of people did not even know what this game was. But this trailer in itself made a lot of people excited for it. It made me very excited for it. This is one of the games that I do plan to pre-order because I do like the HD 2D games. I know that isn't really something that I know a lot of people like them, but I know some people do not like them. But I do like the way that these games look. And I know maybe Square Enix is using this, engine a little bit too much, but I still like the HD 2D. So I'm glad they put it in this format, and it's something that's really cool. And I do like the mechanics that, like, the chapters are based on like history, because I do like history as well. It's a little bit tidbit about me, but I do like history. So the fact that there's different segments throughout history that like kind of follows like that. That's very cool to me. Um, but yeah, this game comes out in July, so again, another very cool game coming out in the summertime. So the summertime is gonna be definitely there's gonna be a lot of games in the summer for us to play. So that's very cool. But we basically at this point we basically started getting into like we had a segment about now we sports we switch sports. Um, this probably got the biggest reaction out of me during my reaction, just because it was rumored for a at least for coming up to this direct, that we would be getting a game like a casual 1-2 switch game. A lot of people were thinking it was gonna be 1-2 switch 3-4 or 1-2 3-4 switch. But no, it is Nintendo Switch Sports, and this seems like a game that they're gonna continue to update throughout the next couple of years, maybe the next year, 2 years, with new games. These characters are there's something. Maybe these are going to be the new Mii's, and a lot of people bringing up that these might be like what the new Mii's look like on the next Switch or like the next Nintendo console. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I mean, they look fine to me, but obviously, one of the appeals is that you make yourself into a Mii, or you make Mii's of other people, and then you play as those Mii's. So and Mii's are like unique. They look fine. Uh, but yeah, and then I like the scenery and stuff. Like there's people over here. You guys can see, just watching. They're just communicating. You know, there's people walking outside. So that's what makes me think that they're going to continue to up this game, because they can add many sports. Like you know, in October when the NBA season starts back up after this season ends, they can say bang, there's a basketball. We just built a basketball court, or um, you know, they can bring back baseball. They can say there's a baseball field now, and the baseball field can also be used for other sports. So, um, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing where this game goes. They've already uh, officially said that they are going to bring golf to the game, and they're going to update it with where you can play soccer fully with the leg strap, um, shown right here. Which, if you guys have the Ring Fit one, I think this is the same one as the Ring Fit one. But as well, if you guys do not have the Ring Fit one, um, if you buy the physical edition, this comes with it. So yeah, and then so they basically showed off, and then so the six main sports in this game at launch is bowling, bowling, swords fighting, which you guys sword fighting was in Resort, so I can go back to it just so I can show you. Champar, Chum, Chambara. I think that's how you pronounce it. That's one way to pronounce it, I guess. But they have Chambara, and then we have bowling, and then we have tennis, and then we have soccer, badminton, and volleyball. So those are six sports to start off. Those are some pretty cool six sports to start off with. Um, and we get soccer in April, and then we get soccer in June. So, and yeah, so later, I think in the fall or in the summer, they said that they would update it to add this soccer where you can play with your leg strap. Um, he just jumps off the screen. That's my favorite part of this whole direct. Like, he just flies away. Um, but it's coming out April 29th. And then, so they said, leg strap accessory. So this is probably like maybe a June, July update, and then will add golf. But we went into basically the last section of headlines at this point. So we got Taiko. I forgot that name. Teiko no Tajun Rhythm Festival. It's basically like a game. It's like a rhythm game. From what I'm seeing about it. If I do play that game, it's my first one. Obviously, you guys can probably tell, but it looks very cool. It has a game. It has songs from like other games. It has Legend of Zelda theme. So the one thing that I know a lot of people did point out when they reacted to this game is that it does have like a season pass or like a service where you pay to get other songs, which is kind of, you know, lame-ish, but you know, that's fine, I guess. You know, you can get extra songs. I think Just Dance also does the same thing. So, but then we got Triangle Strategy. Triangle Strategy looks as good as ever, and they showed off a demo for Triangle Strategy. It goes up to Chapter 3, and you can transfer that after you finish that. You can transfer your save data to the main game once you play the main game. And then we had Cuphead DLC. Cuphead DLC is explanatory. It looks very cool. And then we had the Metroid free updates, which we got Dread Mode. I will never be playing this game on Dread Mode because I still haven't finished the game because I'm stuck somewhere. Uh, I, I know you can shoot around and stuff, but I'm stuck at some point in the game, so I've not gone back. But I might change my difficulty to rookie mode because that seems like it's for me. But anyways, and then we got a boss rush update in April. That is very cool. And then we went on to have Earthbound for Switch. We're probably never getting Mother 3 in the West, but it's still very cool that they did add Earthbound to the Nintendo Switch Online service. Both of them, Earthbound Beginnings and Earthbound Mother 1 and Mother 2. Probably never get Mother 3. But anyways, but it is very cool that they added these. And then we went on to mainly the last part of the Direct, being with the Mario Kart substance, the Mario Kart updates, and Xenoblade. I apologize for that pause, but as I mentioned earlier, we do have a lot of, this was pretty much the last segment of headlines that we had, and it was basically just through like a scissor reel, which is very cool, you know, seeing scissor reel. But this game looks cool. The game by Konami, Getsu Fama Den Undying Moon. It looks cool, and it's already out. So if you guys want to play the game, it's already out there for you guys to play. But then we also had, Demon Slayer, and then we had Lego Brawls, and then we went into arguably probably the biggest thing that came out of this direct in regards to just content, because I know a lot of people they want to see Mario Kart 9. We got Mario Kart DLC. And personally, I like the way that the courses look. I'm very excited to finally have more Mario Kart content. Um, you know, the courses. I mean, I know a lot of people would rather have Mario Kart 9, but this is a cool alternative. Because I don't think us getting this affects when Mario Kart 9 would have came out. I think Mario Kart 9 has always been something that Nintendo wanted to push out for like the next console. So have that, as like either like where it came out for the Switch, where Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out a month after the Switch came out. I think maybe they want to have Mario Kart 9 or more, whatever it's gonna be called, Mario Kart 10, 11, come out, a month or with the Switch or like a month after Switch, just to get keep the sales going. But we're getting 48 different courses over the next 2 years, or over this year and next year, so that's very cool. You know, the only thing I don't like about this is I rather would also have like maybe one character per wave, so we get 6 more characters. But it's still very cool that we got 6 different waves and 48 different courses, and it's only $25. So that's a pretty good deal for 48 courses. And then if you do have the Nintendo Switch Online, you get it for that's added to your membership. So you technically get that with your $50 that you're paying every year. If you have a family membership, you get that with your $80 you pay every year. So that's a pretty good deal in my opinion. Because if you play all of these games, these two games or these two things right here, if you have like individual membership, they technically pay for themselves. and then you get N64 and Genesis. But um, this is only one, so maybe like that. Maybe everyone so might be the if like I'm gonna assume probably Splatoon's gonna get a paid pack, so maybe that gets added here. So it's kind of cool. And then they obviously finished off with an amazing looking game, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And obviously, this did not look like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 at first, but then we saw Xenoblade Chronicles 3. um, and yeah, I have the other Xenoblade Chronicles games. I have not finished them, so I hope to be able to finish them before September. But I am very excited to finally be able to play. I mean, to actually this game looks really good, and I'm very excited for it. It's coming out in September, so and then I think this is Nia. A lot of people were talking about it. I think that's the protagonist. And they talked about how the music's gonna have flutes now. There's gonna be like a motif of flutes. Like that's really cool in my opinion. And like this, I mean, overall, this looks great. Like the overall, the environment, everything looks great. It looks a lot more expansive than this looks like X, but as like a mainline game. I think X is kind of mainline, but this is like X as a mainline. So that's really exciting to me, and maybe they'll implement some mechanics of X in here. I mean, we even have swimming. I think they show that in the next. Yeah, we have a swimming, which is very cool. But yeah, and then the cutscenes looks great. I mean, the game overall looks amazing. I have one thought about this, and it's not even a thought about Xenoblade. It's the thought that this game does come out September, so September, that isn't Nintendo's holiday game. We didn't see Pokemon. Could Pokemon have a Gen 9 this year? And that takes November? I don't know. Breath of the Wild. I mean, that's probably something we'll know closer to E3. If Pokemon does a presents in, April, or at the end of this month, or in April, or in March, or in May, we'll probably find out if they have a game for November. And if they do have a game for November, maybe we do not get, Nintendo Nintendo doesn't have something at E3 for the holidays, like Breath of the Wild or Fire Emblem or like something Mario. But if not, I mean, we'll probably see what they have for the holidays at E3, because otherwise this probably would have been the December game, and then you would have given them some extra time between September and December to get the game finished, or to put at their top finishing touches and polishing on the game. But they feel like they can get September. The game's coming out September. Yeah. The last thing I really wanted to do with this video is I did want to look at Nintendo's Twitter page, because they have gone into a little more explanations about the content. And that's basically just they had we have an official Splatoon page now, which is very cool. And then they had some extra stuff about Xenoblade, which I think they tweeted out early. They tweeted all the trailers yesterday. And then Mario Kart, which is up for pre-order now. If you guys do not have it online, it's up for pre-order now. But then this is basically just talks about Xenoblade. They did a couple tweets on it about like how where the story is, and then they had a message from the executive director Miki Takahashi about the game, the art, the music, the characters, the talents, and then we had some stuff about Kirby, and then right here we can see that there are Mii's still in Nintendo Switch Sports, which is very cool. And then that was pretty much it. So that's basically, I just wanted to look over that. If you guys do go to the Twitter page, there's some extended trailers for mainly the third-party games. But yeah. With that, thank you guys so much for listening to this video. Just basically me just expressing some of my thoughts about the stuff we saw yesterday. A day out. But yeah. Until next time, make sure you do what makes you happy, because that rhymes with generic happy, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Well, you know, maybe we'll see some more Nintendo games this year. Okay, bye.